stories. Russia claims start of fight back in Kursk region. IMF cautions President Tinubu over fuel hike. Kalu commiserates with Borno flood victims. NBA mobilizes palliatives. Police, military launch joint operation against kidnapping in Imo. And Edo elections, INEC wants on peace accord. Details now. The news begins from outside the shores of Nigeria, where Russia's defense ministry has disclosed its forces have recaptured 10 settlements seized by Ukrainian forces in a surprise incursion in Russia's Kursk border region last month. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that Russia had begun counter-offensive actions, which is going in line with Ukrainians' plan. Russia said its units of the North forces had reclaimed the settlements over 2 days in the area around Snagost on the western flank of the area occupied by Ukraine in its campaign launched on the 6th of August. The first indication of a counter-offensive had come from Chechen Special Forces commander Major General Apti Alodinov, who said 6 Ukrainian brigades had suffered heavy casualties. A Ukrainian officer fighting the Kursk region disclosed to correspondents that the Russian counter-offensive had begun some distance to the west of Suza. Ukraine's offensive was launched with the apparent aim of distracting Russia from its push into eastern Ukraine. It now claims up to 1,300 square kilometers of Russian territory. However, Russian forces continue to seize villages in eastern Ukraine and are closing in on the strategic town of Pokrovsk. Back home in Nigeria, the International Monetary Fund has called on President Bola Tinubu to strengthen social protection for the vulnerable to soften the impact of the recent hike in premium motor spirit and flooding. The representative of the International Monetary Fund in Nigeria, Christian Ebeke, made the call on Wednesday during a Monitor television program. He asserted that it is important to accelerate social protection in Nigeria so the vulnerable can cope with the multiple shocks. His comment come as Nigerians groan over the hike in the petrol pump price to 897 naira and 880 naira per litre for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, retail outlets and independent marketers filling stations from the previous 617 naira and 720 naira respectively. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and Nigeria Bar Association President Afam Osigwe have commiserated with victims of Borno flooding. Deputy Speaker Kalu, in a statement today, promised a collaboration between the National Assembly and the Executive to ensure support are given to the flood victims. On his part, Afam Osigwe promised palliative support from Nigerian lawyers. He described the flood as saddening and unfortunate incident causing unimaginable hardship and hunger to the victims. Elsewhere, the Imo State Police Command, in a joint security operation with the military, has launched a specialized squad to smash and dismantle kidnapping, armed robbery, and other violent criminal syndicates in the state. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Henry Okoye, disclosed that the joint effort underscores the command's unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety and security of communities in the state. According to him, there were recent reports of increased kidnapping incidents in those areas, which have raised significant concerns amongst residents and students. Okoye maintained that in responding to the development, that the State Police Command has deployed a team of highly trained personnel to conduct focused operations aimed at neutralizing the threat posed by the criminal elements. Now, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has told political parties and their candidates for the Edo State governorship poll that signing of the peace accord does not guarantee peaceful election. He called for commitment to the implementation of the peace accord. Yakubu spoke on Wednesday during the signing of the peace peace accord by political parties ahead of the 2024 governorship elections in the state. The peace accord was signed before a former head of state and chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abdusalami Abubakar, representative of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, the Inspector General of Police, representatives of the Oba of Benin, National Chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, Chairman of political parties in the state, candidates and their running mates, and the media, amongst others. According to Mahmoud Yakub, he disclosed, and I quote, "I appeal to political parties and candidates to note that it is not their signatures on the peace document that will guarantee peaceful election. It is your commitment to its implementation that is critical. Therefore, as you sign the peace accord, commit yourself to the implementation and terms of the accord and pass the message to your supporters at all levels of compliance. This is the best way to honor the effort and sacrifice of the chairman and members of the NPC to peaceful elections." Now, while many Nigerians continue to wail in anguish over the lingering hardship and hunger biting them, the Arawa Youth Consultative Forum has disclosed only one problem with the Tinubu-led administration. They disclosed, according to the group, that President Tinubu may not secure Northerners' support in 2027 if the insecurity in the region is not curtailed. The national president of the forum, Shettima, made this known during an interview recently. He acknowledged that the challenges confronting Nigeria predated the Tinubu-led administration, but insisted that the way the president handles these issues will determine if the North will support his re-election in 2027. According to him, if the Tinubu administration fails to ameliorate rising insecurity and fulfill its promises of inclusive governance, voter sentiment may shift towards a candidate more aligned with northern aspirations. Also, as a northern leader, he disclosed for the previous administration that Buhari's tenure saw a rise in insecurity, which included widespread banditry and insurgency. Many northern Nigerians tolerated these issues due to perceived regional loyalty and the expectation of better outcomes. The enduring reality is that the challenges facing the North are not exclusively tied to the origin of leadership. Instead, they result from systemic failures that have plagued Nigeria's governance framework for decades. He also stated that while the Tinubu administration faces its scrutiny, it's important to recognize that many of the North issues existed before the president's leadership. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into a news analysis segment. And of course, I have right here in the studio Mr. Peter Anosike, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Mr. Anosike is an author of one of the best-selling books in Africa. Just stay with us. Welcome back. This is still the World News at 6 on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Mr. Anosike, good evening and thank you for joining us on the World News at 6.
Thank you for having me.
Let's speak on what Shettima is saying about the 2027 elections. Now, recently the conversation has been about 2027, but there are a lot of prevailing bedeviling issues affecting every facet of the Nigerian economy, insecurity, investment, infrastructure, healthcare, education. All the sectors have their porosities, and the concern right now is ahead of 2027. Most of the political parties are all talking about re-strategizing ahead of 2027. I want to ask you a question. Who says that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is interested in rerunning for elections in 2027? Who says he's interested in it?
Well, in Abuja right now, there are billboards indicating Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027.
What if these are just about those who are being overzealous supporters of the presidency?
Okay, I was in an event in 2003.
Okay.
When some youth in Lagos State came out with placards, understand? Tinubu for president. That's 2003.
2003.
2003.
So that was premeditated. That was intentional. Already he was disclosing his intention way back.
So when he saw that, he came out of and said, no. Hold on. Not yet. So if he can do that about 21 years ago, then he should have told them, I'm not interested. It's not yet for 2027. I still have job to do.
The reason is because Northerners are coming on. Even a faction of Afenifere are coming up to say that it's either the president resigns or he will definitely not win the slot, or the APC literally will not win the 2027 elections. And one of such persons that is speaking out right now, beyond other Northern leaders that have been speaking up since the inception of this administration, is Shettima. He's talking about the fact that with the challenges bedeviling the nation, or the challenges confronting Nigeria at this time, even though these challenges predates the administration of President Tinubu, he's insisting that with the way the president is handling these issues, it will determine if the North will support his re-election in 2027. Now, with the way this was phrased, it was phrased as if there are there's a non-verbal knowledge, all right, that persons in the corridors of power know or indicates that the president may rerun in 2027. And if he wants to have a strong footing, he needs to realign his strategic moves ahead of that time. The Northerners are saying that they are isolated and that the issues bedeviling their region is not being treated properly by this administration. They're talking of insecurity, talking of hunger, talking of, will I say, being abandoned. Do you think that's the truth? Is it not cutting across all regions of the Federation?
Well, Shettima is just one of the voices in the North.
Okay.
He doesn't speak for the North.
All right.
He's just one of the voices in the North, and a lot of the time, he speaks from both sides of the mouth.
Oh.
But the fact remains, that's why are they waking up at this point in time? When Buhari was bungling the economy, what did they do? Because the insecurity deteriorated under the watch of Muhammadu Buhari, and he still got second term. The insecurity became worse under Buhari, and he still got second term. An instance, in the first 1 year of Jonathan's administration, 2,000 people were killed. In the first 1 year of Buhari's administration, 10,000 people were killed. In the first 1 year of Tinubu's administration, 6,000 people were killed. Upon these staggering figures, Buhari still got a second term.
Okay.
So why are they waking up at this point in time? The issue is this: the problem that I'm not trying that to make an excuse for Tinubu.
Okay.
Because he said that nobody should pity him.
Yes.
That he asked for this job, and that he's going to do it to the best of his capacity. But his best is nothing to write home about. But that's not that's the point now. So the issue is, the problem that Tinubu is going through at this point in time was caused by Buhari. If Buhari has just tried to maintain the economy where Jonathan left it in 2015, Tinubu would not have been struggling as he is struggling now. So Buhari is the major cause of Tinubu's problem.
But then, like you said, like you rightly said, the president had talked about the fact that he knew what to do. And he also said that he was continuing from the previous administration. He did not admit the fact that this previous administration strategy did not work, and maybe the blueprint of the APC, the previous administration did not stick by it. He did not say that I'm going to come revamp the policy. He only came up with the whole renewed hope agenda, and that he was continuing with where the previous administration stopped. Now, is it that he didn't understand that statement or that phrase at the time? Because it literally feels like that is what is going on now.
Most of them don't understand. Just like what Buhari said, that he's for everybody and not for anybody. Understand? So they just use catch phrases.
Okay.
Renewed hope, change. Understand me? Which in reality don't mean anything, because change should start from you, not from others.
Okay.
But when people that cannot change themselves think that they will change others, then it becomes utopian. So the renewed hope is a gimmick to deceive other people. Which hope? There's no hope anywhere talking about to renew. It was suffering. It was suffering. It was Buhari who he used as a stopgap for himself that caused this problem for him. I said it that Buhari inherited the economy when it was suffering from malaria under Goodluck Jonathan. But Tinubu inherited it when it was suffering from stage 4 cancer.
So, but if he knew that this was what he inherited, why give promises at the time that you know what to do?
He has one ambition, to be president.
And that's all it takes.
Every other thing is secondary.
Well, that's why I asked you earlier that who says President Tinubu would want to run again in 2027. If he runs this first term, it may just be satisfactory enough for him. All right, let's look at the situation with the upcoming Edo elections. The People's Democratic Party refused to sign the peace accord for the Edo State governorship election scheduled for September 2024, and that is very, very, very soon. I think this next week Saturday, September 21. Now, here is the thing: the INEC chairman has told them that it doesn't fall on them to sign the peace accord to determine if there will be actual peace during the elections. But he used the opportunity to plead with them that they should stick by the peace accord. But a lot of Nigerians are saying Mahmoud Yakubu is not being honest. Where was this supposed plea during the 2023 elections when some persons were disenfranchised from going to cast their votes at the polling units?
Well, for me, I feel that the National Peace Accord headed by Abubakar Abu Sandam is just a jamboree. Understand me?
You don't believe in the effectiveness of that peace accord?
It is just deception. It is just deception. If they are really doing anything, what has happened to Ondomo? What has happened to Bayo Ononoga? So for me, it is just a jamboree. It is just a way of rehabilitating people, because I know that this peace accord, National Peace Accord, is being funded. So for me, they are doing no job. They are doing no job, and you cannot sign a peace accord while APC in Edo is using police to intimidate PDP people. Why? When I see the rallies that APC is holding in Edo and people are attending, I say Nigerians are the most gullible people in the world. Because if Nigerians are thinking no single individual should go to APC rally anywhere in the world, if Nigerians are thinking no human being should go to APC rally with what they are going through at this point in time, scarcity of food, scarcity of that's everything, and some people are still attending APC, this shows me that Nigeria has no hope.
No, you can't say that. You can't surmise for a few people.
That this is the most gullible people that God created on earth.
No, you cannot. No, Mr. Nosike, you cannot surmise.
To attend the APC rally with what they are going through at this point in time,
do you know if
they have no hope?
Do you know those who attended the rallies? Do you know if they're benefiting from this administration?
They were naturally created to suffer.
No, you can't say that.
Suffering is in their DNA.
No, Mr. Nosike, you can't generalize.
Suffering is in those that are attending APC rally. Suffering is in their DNA.
Mr. Nosike,
and they will continue to suffer.
You cannot generalize.
They will continue to suffer.
And everyone has a free will to choose whatever political party they prefer.
I felt ashamed that an individual should attend APC.
Do you know if they're benefiting from the administration? You can never tell, Mr. Nosike.
Where are their filling stations? Where are their filling stations? Where are their markets? It runs me mad that people can attend rallies of APC with what they are going through.
But there are card-carrying members of the APC, staunch supporters of the APC,
and they are suffering.
Who told you they're suffering? There are some supporters of this administration who are not suffering.
Where is their filling station?
Filling station in what regard? Oh, their own petrol station.
Yes.
You can't tell. Maybe they have private distributors distributing to them in their homes.
They have Moduna refineries in their houses. They have Moduna refineries in their houses.
Well, like I said, you cannot generalize Nigerians as a whole in that concept.
The rice pyramid is in their houses, so they are not feeling what Nigerians are feeling. So to me, Nigerians are the most gullible people that God created.
Mr. Nosike says some, don't generalize. Remember that you also have other political card-carrying members, other political party card-carrying members. So the fact that some persons still prefer the APC regardless of what is currently going on does not exonerate the fact that they don't have their affiliation.
That's why I say that suffering is in their DNA.
Okay.
Their prayer is continuous suffering, and they'll continue to suffer.
Now let's look at the political party structure in this part of the world. A couple of critics like yourself will say that with what is currently going on in the country being headed by this current administration, they do not have a strong opposition party that is, hitting them on the head, criticizing everything they do beyond just verbal talk. And the reason why I'm saying so is the fact that one political party that has decided to re-strategize and restructure and clean house is the Labour Party. They're taking the bull by the horn. Recently, I'm sure you're very aware of the back and forth between the Julius Abure-led faction and the Peter Obi, Esther Nadi Usman, as well as Alex Oti faction of the Labour Party. Now, Peter Obi, there was a 29-member committee that was set up recently. I want you to take a brief listen to the 2023 presidential candidate on why that committee was set up before I ask you further questions on this particular topic. Hold on, please. Okay, I think we're having a situation with the court, so I'm going to have to put this on speaker. I sincerely do apologize.
Dear Governor mentioned it about the issue of caretaker or issue of this. We're just trying to set up just a small committee that will help to do what we want, the right thing, which will be just a period of maybe 120 days. We want everything we're going to do to end as quickly as possible, so that we'll be able to know what we're doing. So we're not trying to set up another leadership. No, we're not trying to do this. It's just a system that will help to get to where we're going. That's what we want to do. Not another group that can become a problem for everybody, but a group that will solve the problem. And we want everybody to embrace this. That's what we want to do.
So that was Peter Obi speaking there, and he actually stated the reason why the 29-member committee was set up. Now, the caretaker committee of the Labour Party has called on Julius Abure to cease presenting himself as the national chairman of the Labour Party. They said he either honorably steps down or risk a disgrace within the Labour Party. Now, there's a polarization. Julius Abure insists that he's the authentic chairman of the party. He's also disclosing that the allegations of financial misappropriation against him is untrue. Rather, it is Peter Obi, Alex Oti, and Obidati that looted the funds, including Aisha Yusufu. Now, what's your take with all this back and forth within the party that a lot of Nigerians looked up to during the 2023 elections?
Well, what Nigerians don't know, and that's what we are suffering now, you cannot use the same mindset that you used to create a problem and solve it.
Okay, explain further.
You cannot use the mind with which you created a problem and solve it. For you to solve a problem, you need a mind shift.
Okay.
Abure created a problem in LP. And Abure is still running with the same mindset. So there's no way he can solve that problem. So it requires another mindset. This guy, his tenure was over since June.
Okay.
And once your tenure is over, you have to step aside. You have to vacate. If there's a chance for a second term, you can now aspire for a second term.
All right.
So, but what I believe in constitution, I believe in due process. What P2B said about creating a small committee that will be there for about six months. If it's within the constitution of the party. And by stakeholders, because what they did was not a function of the National Working Committee, but the stakeholders of the party. That's the real stakeholders of the party.
All right, so let's look at this. For Abayomi Arabambi, the factional national publicity secretary of the Labour Party, he's disputing the narrative that Peter Obi was a key factor behind the party's rise in prominence. He argued that it was actually the Labour Party that gave Peter Obi the platform he needed to achieve political relevance. He said that before joining the Labour Party, Obi struggled to find success within major political parties like APC and PDP, failing to make a significant impact. He went ahead to claim that despite Obi's current involvement in public donations, he did not contribute financially to the Labour Party during his time with the party. How is that true? If his personal fund of about almost a billion naira, according to what Aisha Yusufu disclosed, was involved during the campaign. So there's a major disparity with what Arabambi is saying and what Aisha Yusufu disclosed.
Esther, I've told you, coming on air to discuss Arabambi, to me, it's a waste of time because he's a tout. And I don't want to be using my precious time discussing touts. If this guy should go and hug poor and die, if he has a soul. Look at, Labour Party was dead, completely dead before P2B joined. It is the obedience that resurrected this party.
All right.
It is the obedience that resurrected this party. And what P2B did with Labour Party, he could have done it with SDP. He could have done it with any other political party. It is P2B that breathed life
to the party.
Without P2B, Labour Party, have you ever heard Labour Party in the appeal court or before? Let alone Supreme Court. Have you ever heard Arabambi, Apapa before? Have you ever heard Abure before? These are shoe shiners until P2B came and gave them identity. So they should be appreciative of P2B. Understand me? Because it's P2B that made people to know that there's a party like Labour Party. The last time we had of Labour Party winning election was under Mimiko as governor of Ondo State.
At some point, he left the party.
Understand me? From there, he went to ACN and then APC. So how many House of Assembly people did they have from 2010 up to 2023? So they should be grateful to P2B. But these are sycophants, hypocrites, who are looking for who to dash them what to eat. Who was Apapa? Apapa was a truck driver in Ibadan.
All right. So apparently, Yunusa Tanko had to speak on behalf of the recent call by this administration where when there is any issue, they refer it to Peter Obi. He said, Nigerians, APC is your problem and not a Peter Obi. According to Tanko, this was in reply to an allegation by an APC spokesman, Felix Smoker, who accused Peter Obi of making statements that incite citizens' disaffection to the country. Is it only Peter Obi that has been making comments concerning the current reality that Nigeria is facing? A couple of northern leaders have expressed their dissatisfaction with this administration. A couple of religious leaders as well. Afenifere, a faction of Afenifere, just yesterday, I read it here in the news, some Yoruba unions too are calling on the president to rethink and reschedule himself, look in-house at some of the policies being implemented that is affecting his administration. His administration is not representing the Tinubu of when he was in Nadeko. So again, he is addressing the situation and the statement made by Felix Smoker. Why do you think we keep on having these responses?
Okay, now for you to know the impact of people, I met Yunusa Tanko in 2010 at Dr. Beko Ramson Kuti's house at Inupeju.
Okay.
2010, he's a northerner. But I met him 2010 at Beko Ramson Kuti's house when we went for a meeting of CDHR. Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. He's from the Northerner, but I've never heard Felix Morka until few months ago.
Okay.
This tells you that these are shoe shiners.
Who are shoe shiners? Mr. Noske,
Felix Morka is a shoe shiner.
Mr. Noske, I want you to stop calling persons names. You called somebody a loud earlier. It's not right. You don't do that on national radio. It's wrong. And then now you're referring to somebody as a shoe shiner. You can't attach names to individuals, regardless of your, will I say, differences against such persons.
And we're looking at the weight, importance of people.
Okay.
Yunusa, understand me, Tanko is a Northerner. Felix Morka, from his name, is an Igbo man. I'm an Igbo man. But I tell you that I met this guy in Bear Corruption's Kuti's house at Inupeju, 2010, about 14 years ago. But I'm here, that's a Northerner, but I'm hearing Felix Morka I started hearing his name just few months ago.
Okay, in other words, where are you driving at?
That is nobody.
No, you can't make such a statement, Mr. Nosike, on national radio. You can't denigrate. You can't make denigrative comments on persons, because if another person should do that, you will castigate such a person. You can pass across your statement logically without any denigrative word. It's important for us to have that in mind.
Excuse me. Okay. For today, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is Bondame Tinubu.
Yes.
So if things are going well, we all will join hands and praise Tinubu.
All right.
If things are going bad, we all will join hands and criticize Tinubu.
All right.
What we are hearing between Ukraine and Russia is Putin. Putin is not a soldier. But because he is the image of Russia. So if things are going bad, people will always criticize Putin. So if things are going bad in Nigeria, you cannot be mentioning Obi, who is in his house a private citizen.
Okay.
So this shows you how illogical this so-called publicity secretary is in his thinking. Understand me? Nothing will happen in Nigeria today. Anybody will mention Obi. Peter Obi is not a president.
Okay. Obviously, he's not a president.
So he's a
private citizen.
So our problem is Bondame Tinubu. If Nigerians are hungry, they will cry to their father. And the father of Nigeria today is Bondame Tinubu. Now, saying that Peter Obi is our problem.
No, he's saying that he makes comments that incite the citizens towards the disaffection of the country based on the current economic reality. So, and that's why I'm asking you, why single out that individual? We've heard Article 2 make comments about situations in the country at the moment, some of the economic policies. In fact, Atiku Abubakar recently made a statement where he actually disclosed that it is vital for this administration to release the End Bad Governance protesters. In fact, he said release arrested PDP leaders or charge them to court. That's what he told the IGP. He has also made reference to the petrol industry in the country, talked about the cabal. So Peter Obi is not the only individual who has made mention of certain issues. So the question here is, according to what Tanko Yunusa is saying, why always single out this person and claim he's making inciting statements when you know other political leaders too who have made comments against some policies within this administration?
Because they see Peter Obi as a peace-loving person.
And so you think that's why they would like to railroad?
That Peter Obi that would not react negatively. That Peter Obi is a punished man. That is the only reason.
The fact that one is decent in their dealings and one is intelligent and tries to be, will I say, coordinated, does it mean that that one is not intelligent or strategic enough in what they're doing or how they're thinking for people to think they can always railroad?
That's if you go to the bush and there's 5 trees, the one that everybody's throwing stone at,
okay,
go. It is the one that has fruit. It is the one that has fruit.
All right.
So Peter Obi is not the only presidential candidate in 2023 presidential election. But he has stuff. He has numbers. He has people. And these guys, because of their misgovernance,
okay,
are panicking. they are panicking what will happen that to them in the near future.
All right. Okay, now let's hear what Yunusa Tanko is also saying, that the future of political leaders in Nigeria will be produced by the obedient movement. Are you of the same line of thought of what Yunusa said? Because he's actually talking about the fact that if, there have been talks of Peter Obi registering another political party, what you called the Obedient Movement Party or an Obedient Democratic Party. So in an interview recently, a Monitor television interview, Tanko stated that a structured movement for the supporters of the former governor of Anambra State would help in proper identification. He explained that the supporters have been dismissed and accused for a long time by other political parties of being stubborn, unorganized and unstructured. So what's your take on that?
For me, the obedience is a mass movement, and in fact, the biggest movement in the country today. The movement that the Oni of Ife called the tsunami. So, and these are a movement of well-meaning Nigerians, a movement of people who wants a better Nigeria, a movement that every member of this country should join, irrespective of their political associations. That's if you want a better Nigeria, this is where you should belong to.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Peter Anosike, for taking your time to share your perspective on some of the issues that were raised here on the World News at 6. But I will implore you next time to not make denigrating statements on individuals and their affiliations. Not everyone would have your line of thoughts. Not everyone will have your way of reasoning. So it doesn't mean that you make denigrative comments towards them.
But there's nothing wrong calling an idiot an idiot.
No, you don't say that on national radio. It's wrong. And that is Mr. Peter Anosike there, but that is wrong on national radio. Don't abuse. Don't make denigrative comments. Do not try to make provocative comments on national radio. All right. Thank you very much for taking your time to be with us on the World News at 6. To wrap up, here again are the top stories. Russia claims start of fight back in Kirk's region. IMF cautions President Tinubu over fuel hike. Kyle commiserates with Borno flood victims and they mobilizes pilots. Police military launch joint operation against kidnapping in Imo. And Edo election, INEC wants on peace accord. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Mwachuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.